How's it going, guys? It is Tuesday, April 28th. Today we're going to get into 2.4, which is a new transformation, something called a rotation. We're going to get right into it. So a rotation or turn is a transformation in which a figure is rotated about a point called the center of rotation. The number of degrees a figure rotates is the angle of rotation. In a rotation, the original figure and its image are congruent. So they're just saying that even when we rotate a figure into an image, it's still going to be congruent to the original. All right, so everything is equal. The angles, the sides, they're still equal. It's just transformed in a different way. All right, here's a quick example of what that's going to look like. We're just turning an original figure into an image. All right, so first thing we want to do is identify a rotation. All right, so it says you must rotate the puzzle piece 270 degrees clockwise about point P. So meaning we're going to use point P as our center of rotation. To fit it into a puzzle, which piece fits in the puzzle as shown? They're saying take this puzzle piece and let's rotate it 270 degrees clockwise. Now, I want you to remember that rotating 270 degrees clockwise is the same thing as taking something and rotating it 90 degrees counterclockwise. All right? But let's follow the instructions. Let's follow the instructions and we're going to rotate this puzzle piece 270 degrees clockwise. Okay? So, take a look down here. What does this look like? Here's our original piece is here. So our original piece is here. And we're going to rotate it clockwise. Okay? Meaning we're going to go this way. If we look at the arrow, it points. Okay? Now again, we could have went 90 degrees counterclockwise and end up at the same spot. But if we go 270 degrees clockwise, we would end up with this piece right here. So our answer is actually going to be C. All right, so a way we can look at this is maybe we can focus on like one part of the puzzle piece. So like this empty side here, if I rotate down to here clockwise, where's that going to be pointing? It's going to be pointing up, right? And if I keep going, now it's going to be pointing right. If I keep going, now it's going to be pointing down, okay? Now the only puzzle piece that has that happening is C. All right, so that's one way I look at it, is just focus on one part of the puzzle piece to see how our rotation would work. Okay. All right. Now let's look here. Now it's saying tell whether the blue figure is a 180 degree clockwise rotation of the red. So problem A, if we took this and we rotated it 180 degrees, we would end up with this blue figure here. But in B, this is actually, if we think about it, this is actually a reflection. If we took this and drew a line down the center, this is really a reflection. So B is not a rotation. All right. So again, that's the first part, is just identifying. Now let's get into something a little harder. All right. So I have uploaded a document that's really helpful for something like this, where we actually have to rotate an image or a figure into an image in a specific degree. All right, so this is saying to rotate this thing 180 degrees about the origin. We're always going to be using the origin as our center of rotation. Okay, but it's saying here are the vertices of this trapezoid. Now we want to rotate it 180 degrees about the origin. What are the coordinates of the image? Okay, so let me show you the document that I uploaded is right here. Okay, so underneath this assignment, this transformations rules document is there, and it's really helpful. Okay, so what happens with a 180 degree rotation, which is what we're working with right now, is the original figure, we take our dimensions and we just flip flop them. All right, the x becomes the opposite of itself, and the y becomes the opposite of itself. All right, so if we look at this same example, I'm going to take all of these dimensions or all of these vertices, these coordinates, and I'm going to flip-flop them to their opposites. Okay, so if we look here, this image that we create is all of these coordinates opposites. All right, so if we look down here at the answers, look at W. The original W is -4, +2. Now W prime is +4 and -2. All right, I'm not going to go through everything, but and so on. It just kind of, we take everything and just flip-flop it to its opposite. All right, so 180-degree rotations are actually pretty basic, where we just take everything, we leave it in the same spot, the coordinates, we leave them in the same spot, but we just flip-flop them to their opposites. Okay, now if we look at a 90-degree rotation, for example, okay, now they're asking us rotate the triangle 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. All right, here's what we're going to do. Let's go back to that rule sheet and let's look at a 90-degree clockwise rotation. What happens is we take our coordinates and we actually completely change, we flip-flop their spots now. All right, so the x and y, they flip-flop spots. All right, so y becomes x and x becomes y. And then the x value that we put in the y value, it's confusing, we change to its opposite completely. All right, so what we're going to do with this example, is I'm going to write it out. So my a prime, I'm going to flip-flop these values, right? I'm going to take 1 and put it here. So my y becomes my x. And I'm going to take 4 and put it here. And remember, I'm actually taking the opposite of this. Okay, so instead of -4, now it's +4. Okay. B prime was -1, 6. I'm going to flip-flop their spots. All right, and the y stays as it was, and the x that flip-flopped to the y becomes its opposite. Okay, C prime. I'm going to go 1 and 1. Same number, okay? But when I flip-flop this -1 to this spot here, I change it to its opposite. All right, so let me emphasize this a little more. You're going to want to use this. You're going to want to use this document here. All right, it's embedded in Canvas. It's going to help you figure out how to rotate an image or a figure into an image using these different types of rotations, these different degrees. All right, so here are all the rules that you will need for rotating. We need to use this document. It's going to help you again drastically. Okay, but at this time, hopefully that makes somewhat of sense. I know it's confusing, but at this time, you guys are going to go into your assignments. Go into your assignments, and you're going to complete the 2.4 practice today. All right, I think it's only like 6 problems on rotations. And again, hopefully this makes sense. If not, email me, please. This is one of the more confusing lessons. It's hard to teach virtually for sure. But again, I can't emphasize this enough. Use this document right here. It's embedded in Canvas. All right, use that. Email me with any questions, or you can talk to me on the discussion thread in Canvas as well. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.